Okay, so we continue with summarizing these ideas we have spoken about concerning planning lessons. Okay, so the reference is this. This is the reference on which I based my lecture today, my summary. It's very good book that you should have. Okay, I will share with you the reference later. Essential Teacher Knowledge. Okay, Essential. It's a very good book. Okay, it's written by one of the really popular guys. Okay, in the field of teaching English as a foreign language, called Jeremy Hammer. He has a number of publications, including this one. And this one is like a starting point, but you can complement this using other materials that he has published as well. You can have like one book for how to teach. He has got a series called How to Teach. Okay, how to teach, like how to teach speaking, how to teach writing, okay, etc. Has got has published some other books as well. But this is the one I'm using for today's summary concerning planning lessons, Essential Teacher Knowledge. So to plan or not to plan, it's a question, okay, for teachers. Usually what happens is that when teachers don't plan, and it happens, you know, when you have family and, getting too busy and you get sick of students, it's a reality. It's a reality, in a way. And then it happens that you come without planning. Okay? So when teachers don't plan, there is a problem with that. Okay? But they can sometimes have good lessons. It can work. Sometimes. Okay? It can work because of their experience, because of what maturity and knowledge, etc. But usually, it is a big risk for the teachers. Okay? It is a big risk. Sometimes the lesson is just chaotic, and no one learner learns very much. No one learns very much. So there's chaos. The teacher is lost. Okay, and of course, when a teacher is lost, where is the origin of knowledge? So everything comes to be chaotic, and what is the result? Learners learn nothing. They learn only chaos. Okay, they learn chaos. Then, if this happens too often, there is a bigger risk in relation to this. If it usually happens that the teacher comes without preparing, and therefore there is chaos every time. Okay, so there is a big risk about this. What happens is that students may start to think the teacher is unprofessional. Do you agree or not? Okay, so that's one of the big risks that the teachers can follow. Okay, and therefore when the students lose belief in the teacher, don't trust the teacher, so they're not going to learn from the teacher, okay? So therefore, you should start by thinking seriously about the question of, in addition about planning lessons. In addition to the other things we have spoken about before, okay? So for success, in order to be successful, you need to organize yourself in every aspect of your life, okay? That you have to organize yourself in terms of management, in terms of setting goals, etc. Okay? Next, this is bad for teachers' student rapport. What is rapport here? Teacher-student rapport. Situation. Okay? When there's the teacher-student rapport is not good, and when the teacher-student rapport is not good, what happens is that learners don't learn. Okay? When teachers, then there is another thing. Either you have this extremes, like teachers don't plan, or they plan, but they plan too much. Okay? They plan too much. Okay? Being careful about the details and following the details of the plan, and follow the plan exactly without changing a single thing, whatever happens in the lesson. The teacher prepares a plan, and then when he comes to class, I follow the plan A to Z. But when you are teaching, there are occasions that appear like the students start a discussion, a nice discussion that you can exploit for helping them improve their oral communication, but you don't do it because you are following the lesson plan. Lesson plan, don't talk about this scheme of speaking. I shouldn't do that. These are magical moments you're going to see that you have to explore as teachers. So that's one of the risks for the fact that teachers plan too much and stick to the plan exactly as it is. So they forget about these magical moments. So the lesson may be uncreative and boring because yes, please. That's right. Yeah. There are two extremes here. We're starting with the extremes. But in relation to this, when the teachers stick to the plan and the students have a lot of that happens to you, I'm sure it happens to you during this training. You have a lot of things you want to say, but you don't have the time. Okay, we give you some time to do the speaking, but that's how much we can give. You are 1 and 2. Okay. So, but then you could complement this on your own, okay? But you can also complement using the Facebook group, online things, okay? For having more communication together, okay? So, it tends to be uncreative and boring. Now, what should be done? Teachers need to be ready for magic moments when students do or say something really interesting. Okay? Not everything I will say is going to be interesting, okay? Or do is going to be interesting. But sometimes they do really good things. Okay? So you have to exploit them. Okay? Like doing business, you are doing business when you are teaching. Okay? When you are working for money, what happens to you? When you have some hands up, you call it hands up. So what did you do? So you exploit it, you see, because you want more money. You are not going to have more money, but your more money is the fact that you are going to help your learners learn. That's your money. That's the more money you are going to have, if you're really interested in that, okay? But then, that's a good thing, because it depends on the nature of the people. There are people who like this, there are others who don't like. Personally, I like this. When I see people learning, okay, that's one of the nice moments I have in my life. Okay? So, therefore, you need to exploit these magic moments. Teachers need to be prepared or to change our plan, their plan, to take advantage of them. So, you need to be flexible. Okay? Yes, do the preparations. That's why you have anticipation problems, solutions. That's why you have additional activities if you are finishing before time. Another thing you can do is, for example, when somebody speaks about something really good or somebody does something really good, you exploit it for further improving the students' learning process. Okay, sir? Yes? Yes? Yeah. Yes. So, teachers need to be ready for unforeseen problems. Usually when you are not organized, you are not preparing, things to be chaotic, we said. So you have to be prepared for that. They also need to be prepared to change their plan. So I'm making some mistakes because I was doing this quickly. Their plan to deal with them. So to be flexible, so you have prepared a plan. That's a good thing. But then even when they have some magical moments appearing, you have to adapt to the magical moments, okay? Adapt your plan to the magical plan. Not adapt the classroom altogether 100% to your time or to your plan, okay? So, what are lessons like? When teachers start thinking about what the aims of the lesson are, so first of all we have spoken about establishing the aims, okay? So, how are you going to do that? You ask questions and how they will help students to achieve them. They are already planning. It's coming. Lesson plans are like maps. They tell teachers where they are going, you know, when you are traveling, and you have your map with you. So you know, you're not going to lose, okay? You arrive on time, and you arrive safe, and everything is well. They help them to take the best route to get there. They also have to make decisions as they travel. Should they take a detour, talking about magical moments, you have the plan, but then what happens is that you find a magical moment, so you make a detour, okay? Or change different routes. So this is what lesson plans are helpful. Lesson ideas can come from different places, okay, for preparing your plan. There are different places how you can get ideas. We're talking about textbooks and teachers' books, etc. So you can have ideas that can come from syllabus teachers are following. In order to build your lesson plan, you have to follow the syllabus, okay? So because you have a syllabus, so you have to follow it. First unit, second unit, third unit, etc. They can come from the course book they are using, the course book. So you go to the textbook and then you establish your lesson plan depending on the units you are teaching, okay? They can be inspired by films. You can have ideas for your lesson plan from films, from something we read, come from ideas of colleagues, you as students, for example, come from something we have read about or heard from an online community. You can have ideas for your lesson plan, okay? They can come also from a sequence of lessons. We're talking about timetable fit, okay? They can be planned around a central topic or theme. And if you look at the textbooks, they are always done like this. They're always planned. Each unit talks about one homogeneous topic or theme from the beginning of the unit and to the end of the unit. Now, what goes into the plan? Different schools have different plan forms and formats. They all have several things in common. To decide what the precise learning aims are, we need to consider the learning outcomes. You have examples in your handouts. Teachers can think of a learning outcome as the answer to the question. In order to establish your learning outcome, you can ask the following question. What will my students know or be able to do at the end of a lesson? What will they learn, in other words? Okay, or lessons or stage. Teachers need to consider timetable fit. We have spoken about timetable fit, the link between the lessons. Okay, they will say what the students have been learning recently and what they will be doing in the next lessons after this one. The link between the different units in the course book or in the syllabus. Teachers need to have a good class description. You saw the class description. Now, what do we do in the class description? Can you remember? Describing the students in general, different aspects concerning the students. So you have like age, number of students, gender of the students, the level of the students, etc. Okay? Yeah. So who the students are in a bit of detail, but not too much detail. Okay? What they find easy and difficult. Okay, because you know your students, you need to find what they find easy and what they find difficult. How well they participate in lessons. These are ways how you can describe your lessons. Okay, class description. Okay, okay, sir. Yes, please. I'm making myself tired for you. Okay. How well they participate in lessons. Then we can plan especially for them. This is why you need to provide a class description. Okay? Because when you know your students, their level, so you know what you can prepare for them. Because you have to prepare something that is the students are interested in. Okay? To suit the needs of the students. As they call it in business, personnaliser, okay, whatever kind of products or service. Okay? And plan activities that differentiate between different students. So you can build on that description in order to provide the appropriate material for your students. Teachers need to list the language exponents. So in the description, so you have to provide what is the target of your activity. Grammar, like in the example of lesson plan I gave you, it's about using will. For the future. So you specify that for grammar, you specify that for if you are talking about reading, you are talking about vocabulary, so you specify the type of vocabulary you are going to teach the students. Okay? Or pronunciation items. So you specify that in your lesson plan. Or the language skills. Is this activity targeting speaking skill? Or is it targeting the listening skill or the writing skill? You need to specify that in your lesson plan as well. Teachers should say what activities they are going to include in their lesson. That's what you have in the description. You have the details. We didn't talk about the details, okay? About your writing, what kind of material you are going to use. And what teaching aids you are going to rely on for teaching that activity. Visuals, sticky notes, okay? Like, this is specified in the materials section of the model of lesson plan I gave you. They should describe the procedures, and you have the procedures in the example I gave you as well. It's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. That's the section, procedures section. And what the interactions will be taking place, kind of interactions taking place. Is it teacher-student, is it student-student, or is it teacher-student to student-student? So you can have different types of ways to do it. Who is working with whom? That's what we are going to specify for interaction. Perhaps the teacher is talking to the whole class, or the students are working in pairs or groups. It helps to estimate the timing, which you need to specify in the lesson plan as well. Okay. If this is included in the plan, when teachers are working, they will know if they can slow down or if they need to speed up. Very useful for time management. Teachers can also include personal aims. You have seen personal aims related to the teachers in order to help them with their self-development. Okay, I'm not going to teacher development and action research because this is one component of teachers. They should be involved in what we call action research. Okay, but this is a higher level of doing it. But then the smaller level of doing it, the lower level of doing it is personal aims. You just establish personal aims and you see how it works as a kind of action, small, low-level action research. It also helps to anticipate problems, so you have to include a section anticipating problems, possible solutions for that. And also, if you are finishing before time, or if the activity or the type of material you're using is not good, the students don't like it, or it's too difficult for them, you need to provide additional possibilities, like we were talking about the different routes, So that's it for this, as a summary for this, I'm doing it like this and recording it just for you to have it with you when you are revising,